Tonight on 3 News, major damage, travel chaos and widespread power cuts as the biggest storm in decades hits the capital.
I'm Ingrid Hipkiss in Christchurch. The South Island's on the move again after near record snowfalls, but is the worst of the wild weather behind us?
And a lucky find follows a lucky escape for one Wellington couple.
News with Sasha McNeil and Mike McRoberts.
Kia ora, good evening. Thousands are still without power following the worst weather in the capital since the storm that caused the Wahine disaster in 1968. Planes, trains and buses were cancelled this morning, and we'll hear from Rachel Tiffin at Wellington Airport in a moment about the travel disruption still being felt around the country. But first, Tova O'Brien with details on the damage last night's storm caused.
The storm hit the south coast head-on, with winds gusting up to 200 kilometres an hour. It wrenched roofs from houses, left rubble and debris strewn across the road, and when paired with powerful waves, it was truly destructive. Roads were torn up, parts of the seawall destroyed.
Yeah, I've been here in Island Bay, born and bred.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a storm like it, worse than the Wahine.
Waves reached heights of 15 metres overnight, bigger than those when the Wahine sank in 1968. Waking up, residents had their work cut out for them, clearing a path to the garage. The cars were another story.
My car was parked over there and it ended up spinning around and coming right down over here. Sam's car was...
I had a table ripped out from over the road and it slammed into the side of my car.
Fire crews responded to more than 900 call-outs overnight. Police helped too, digging out cars along the coast.
South Coast, it's always good. Let's put it on today for sure.
Up the hill in Southgate, residents rallied, securing roofing iron, littering their properties and the street.
There was a big noise and we heard, what's that? And it was the roof from up here had come down here, snagged these wires, come over the top of here, hit the top of our house, taken off part of our chimney and gone right down the back of the section. And so we've still got live power on here this morning.
At the height of the storm, 35,000 homes were without power. 3,000 properties are expected to go without tonight.
This pole snapped off here, ground level.
Just metres down the road, a stranded bus forced to park up after the windscreen was blown in. From Houghton Bay to Petone, garage doors were turned inside out, one roof picked up and dumped in the driveway. In Johnsonville, gusts toppled signs and trees, and here a barely recognisable trampoline after hitting a lamppost full speed. The road along the south coast is by far the worst road damage caused by the storm in Wellington. It could take months to repair parts of this popular stretch, but for now the council's biggest concern is keeping curious onlookers away because it is still dangerous. Tova O'Brien, 3 News.
The storm damaged road and rail links across Wellington, with Civil Defence telling people to stay at home unless their journey was essential. And it grounded flights at Wellington Airport for much of the day. Rachel Tiffin joins us now from the airport. Rachel.
Sasha, it's been a chaotic day for planes, trains and drivers. In fact, getting around Wellington in any shape or form has been a challenge.
The storm bringing new meaning to high tide. In the industrial area of Seaview, waves turned roads into lakes.
Let's try and keep the water out of the buildings as much as we can.
So you're pumping it back out to sea?
As fast as we can, yes.
And wind blew this boat off its blocks. A shock even for old salts like fisherman Jim Mikos.
Yeah, brace yourself. Yeah, just go for the trip. You won't see it again for a long time.
Can't even stand up.
Yeah. I know it.
You listen to that?
This is what the storm did to the main rail line from Petone into the city, bringing trains to a halt.
The seawall between Wellington and Petone has been breached in 4 places, which, as far as we're aware, hasn't happened since the 1970s. So it's a fairly severe piece of damage.
The Kaitaki ripped from its moorings and forced to ride out the storm in the harbour with 45 crew on board. Planes were grounded for much of the day too, leaving the terminal crammed with frustrated travellers. Among them, members of the Royal New Zealand Ballet and New Zealand Symphony Orchestra, who both cancelled Auckland shows. The first plane making a shaky landing around lunchtime, after an even rougher arrival for this albatross, believed to have been blown all the way from Antarctica. Civil Defence telling people to leave home only for essential trips.
This is why, when gusting up to 140 kilometres per hour, and that's down from 200 last night.
But it's a long road to recovery.
We would think that come the end of this coming weekend, we will be close to normal. But there's still a lot of work.
The road to Eastbourne was closed until late afternoon.
I'm really bored and frustrated in the car, and I feel really sick. All I want to do is get home really soon, so snuggle up by the warm fire.
Out in Petone, traffic lights were on the blink, the waterfront a mess. Some who couldn't resist a look were blown away.
And Sasha, KiwiRail tell us that line in from Petone won't be up and running until Monday at the very earliest.
OK, and Rachel, what's the latest on flight disruptions?
Well, planes are getting out, but it's still a very limited service. They do hope the backlog will be cleared by tomorrow, but there will, of course, be a rather hefty knock-on effect in both Auckland and in Christchurch, Sasha.
Rachel, thank you.
As the clean-up continues in Wellington, much of the South Island is digging out from the snow. Ingrid Hipkiss is live in Christchurch, where there's been a little bit of snowfall today. Ingrid.
Yes, Mike, just some very light falls in the Garden City and about 8 centimetres here on the Port Hills. In the last 24 hours, we've had near record snow in parts of the South Island, more than a metre at Mount Hutt, sparking an avalanche there. Some schools were closed, and the old saying about the mail always getting through, well, not in the south it didn't. But the roads are reopening and things are getting back to normal. Back on the road, Lewis Pass reopens and it's business as usual as truckies head up the South Island's main inland route. They're a tough lot. Most had spent the night at Hanmer Springs after heavy snow closed the road on Wednesday. The storm also forced police to shut the South Island's other main route north, State Highway 1, along the east coast.
High winds down the coast. There's a lot of creeks and rivers coming across State Highway 1, and there's also a lot of trees down.
Conditions like this were the reason. Winds reaching 160 kilometres an hour. The experienced camera operator who shot these pictures says the driving conditions were the worst he's encountered. It was dangerous too for the seals who live along the coastline. Battered by stormy seas, some went onto the road and at least half a dozen were hit by cars.
The forecast is for really big swells for the next couple of days, so it is highly likely that there's going to be more seals along the road.
Christchurch got a brief dose of snow this morning. Flurries slowing traffic but not settling on the flat. Some roads on the hills closed temporarily. Mail delivery was cancelled and 3 schools shut for the day.
Have you stocked up? You got plenty of food in your pantry?
Yeah, chook feed, everything. My chooks are under an inch of snow at home.
Dunedin had just a few snowflakes, but plenty of thick white foam covering the esplanade at St Clair. It's caused by big waves churning up old algae. Heavy rain brought down another slip north of the city at Waikaoiti, disrupting traffic on State Highway 1. Big snow's the issue at Mount Hutt, which had so much an avalanche propelled into the snowmaking building. The field could open later tomorrow. The forecast snow in the South Island didn't come to much at sea level, but there have been some epic dumps at higher altitudes. At Quartz Hill Station near Mount Hutt, they woke to nearly half a metre of snow. Chloe Palmer paid a visit.
We're tidying up. Early morning, and it's a complete whiteout driving into Quartz Hill Station. Georgie Harper's first job of the day is to feed her 2 pet koni pigs. Like everything else around here, they're snowed in. The farm's 3,000 hectares also carries just under 7,000 livestock units of sheep, deer and cattle. Heavy snowfalls like this aren't uncommon here. The farm's one of the highest in Canterbury. Georgie's called it home her whole life and says snow cuts off the property several times each year.
I guess if you didn't have the odd weather event, life would get probably a little bit boring.
Her husband Dan now runs the farm with her. This is his first big snowfall since being on the job.
I didn't sign up for this. Being from Hawke's Bay, sunshine and vineyards, and down here in the high country, a wee bit different, but I'm adapting slowly. We'll just leave it at that, I suppose.
The snow's so deep here today that a plough's been deployed on the front of the tractor. And the trusty farm ute can't quite hack it.
Haven't got the chains on this morning, so I might have to, if we get it out, go put the chains on.
Farming's always been hard, physical work, but on days like today, even the simple tasks are a mission. We're at the lowest point of the farm and over 50 centimetres of snow's here, and Courts Hill Station reaches 500 metres higher. The Harpers knew the snow was coming, so earlier this week, with the help of helicopters, they moved their stock down from the higher hills. Once the snow melts, the Harpers know they'll have a muddy mess to deal with. But that's high country farming for you, and they love it. Chloe Palmer, 3 News.
So possibly some more sleet here in Christchurch overnight, but the Met Service assure me we are, in their words, on our way out of the abyss. I'll have more details on that later in the bulletin.
Ingrid, you've been around the traps a bit. How have people been coping with this?
Pretty good, I think. I mean, it has caught a lot of people by surprise. I mean, we started out where a lot of people thought, oh, this has sort of all been blown out of proportion. But I've spoken to a few people and they, at Hanmer especially, said they hadn't seen the prolonged snowfall like this, just how long it lasted. And, of course, the scope of it, that we've had the rain and the wind and the snow and some fog sweeping across at the moment. I think the combination of all those factors are what's made it such an exceptional storm and will stand out in people's memories, I think, for some time to come.
We'll look forward to your forecast a little later on in the program, Ingrid. Thank you.
OK.
Bad weather produced spectacular thunder, lightning and hail in Auckland. While there was nothing like the damage experienced in Wellington, it was still fierce enough to give at least one person a very serious fright. Jono Hutchison reports.
Lightning illuminated much of Auckland throughout the night. And this is what happened in one spot where it touched down, showering a Point England house in wood and leaves. Farther north, in Whangaparaoa, lightning hit this tree, the force of the strike blowing out nearby windows.
We had this mighty bang, flash of lightning, and the house blew apart.
George Bruce's wife got an enormous fright.
She had a heart attack. So whether it's a mild one, whatever a mild one is, but that's what they're saying.
Amid the chaos, he rang for help.
When I dialed 111, I didn't know what was going on, so I just said, listen, send them all. And they all came.
Bruce's neighbour didn't hear her windows breaking and only woke up to a knock on the door.
The firefighters were actually going around every house, shining torches out the window and knocking to make sure that people were OK.
Bruce is grateful to the emergency services who helped his wife and everyone who's been working to repair the damage.
Water's on, the glazier's here.
But more importantly, I mean, how's your wife?
Well, they're doing quite a few tests. She'll be in hospital, I believe, 3 to 4 days.
Time to recover after a terrifying night. Jono Hutchison, 3 News.
One final note on the weather, and proof every cloud has a silver, or in this case, gold lining. A Hutt Valley couple nearly sucked out of their living room during last night's storm returned today to find it had uncovered a long-lost treasure. Patrick Gow was there.
A very lucky escape last night for Luke and Nikki Davis, who returned home today to a lucky find.
Oh, honey, I found your wedding ring. Yeah, I've lost that for 2 years.
Yay! They were on the couch watching TV when the first of 3 windows blew out.
Boom. Boom.
Shards of glass flew at them.
You can actually see here where all the glass has come shattering through.
But you guys are on the couch right here.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. Then the other 2 windows went.
It was like a tornado, just came through instant.
Their home became a wind tunnel. They crawled along the ground, worried about getting sucked out the window.
Just on the ground, trying to get as much stuff out as possible without getting sucked out.
What was flying out of here?
There's
clothes,
photos on
photos, everything.
Rescuing one special thing, their dog, a Staffy Cross called Major. What's his name?
Major.
Yes, you got him out of here.
Yeah, he put him in the fireman's hold. He was shitting himself on the hand.
Well, because we had to get out of the house too, so we were so worried about glass falling on us as we were walking out. Just pitch black, all the power was out at the same time. So we were running around in the dark. It was terrifying.
So relief to have escaped safely?
We made it.
And relief to have finally found that ring.
Where did you think it had gone? Wow, well.
Up the vacuum cleaner, who knows?
Yeah, put it away somewhere, you know.
But yeah,
crazy.
that's good.
Lord of the Ring.
Patrick Gower, 3 News.